So my journey to law school and to becoming a lawyer did not look like many other people's. I tell people now that what I wish I would have known when I was younger is, adults telling a child, "Oh, you would make a great lawyer," is sort of a backhanded way of telling a child, "Gosh, you're really obnoxious." Because people don't like to be pushed or questioned. I was always inquisitive and always asking why, or had sort of this arc of justice of like, well, that doesn't seem fair, right? Like, why are we doing things this way? And not everybody wants to explain that to kids. So I was a ballet dancer, and I went to boarding school in North Carolina when I was in high school. And then took a break and thought I was going to be a writer. Sort of moved all around. Wound up at a training program for a contemporary ballet company called Lines in San Francisco when I was 20. And stayed there, loved San Francisco, loved the Bay Area. And I lived next to a woman who eventually ran for city council, and my roommate was always really involved in politics. And I had always been sort of interested in politics and talking about how, we build our lives, who's in charge, right? Like, who makes the rules. So I actually came to Atlanta to teach ballet and to be closer to family, and wound up just exacerbating an injury. And so I moved back out west and finished school with a degree in political science and a law and legal studies minor, and was working at the Oregon legislature and just loved the law, right? And law school was sort of always something that was sort of hanging out there. And I thought that I was too old, or I thought that it was too scary, or, my background was sort of haphazard, and so I was never going to get in. And I just walked into my kitchen one day and said, I'm done, like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. So whatever that step is, I didn't know any lawyers. And so I called St. Andrew's Legal Clinic in Portland, cold called. They were part of Catholic Charities, and asked if I could answer the phones twice a week. So I started going over there twice a week and answering the phones. And they were a family law clinic. Learned very quickly that I didn't want to do family law. Because it takes a special kind of person. But started understanding what it meant to work in a law firm. What do you do every day, right? We're checking the database for conflicts. We're preparing filings. We're, they're in their office researching, and I'm on the phone doing intake forms. So I really pride myself on, I didn't know anything. And I think that one of the biggest misconceptions, and you hear so often, is you gotta fake it till you make it, right? But I didn't do that with this. I really walked in and said, where do I start? And I started on the phone. And I think it changed the way that I practice, because I've done intake, I've done initial filings, I've done client interviews, then you get to do depositions, case preparation, then you get invited to be in trial. But if you don't know where things begin, then it's difficult, to have the full story when you walk into court. And I do appeals, and I think that that's really tough for an appellate attorney because you sort of get it at the end, right? Somebody comes out, oh my gosh, we lost a trial, or what do we do now?
Sounds like a you problem.
Right, they're like, actually, no, this is now your problem. And so that's what I love about it, of just like, okay, well, let's build this from the beginning, and just not being scared to do that. I think is something that helps me in the day-to-day.